Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Elizabeth and today we're going to be getting some garden chores done out here in the big garden. And I say we because Connor is helping, and it is so stinking hot that we are getting out here as early in the morning as possible, which it's 9, so we really already missed the cool window. But we're going to have to put you over here in the shade, and we're going to work to get the gourds up on the trellis over there. You don't eat them, grow them for fun and art, make stuff out of them. Is that good? Yeah. If it's long enough, you can go up and over. Well, some of these aren't long enough. Those green ones. That's fine. I'm allergic to that plant, so I can't take the green one.
There's only one big size.
You can grab the smaller ones, it's fine. They get big so fast.
What are these?
So we got the gourds up as best as we can. I'm going to show you in a second because there's little baby gourds all over it. So cute. And I did, so there are birdhouse gourds. And I think I did like a multi-gourd seed packet because there's some that look kind of just like a squash. Which, you know, those we'll use for fall decor. But Connor went to go get me a bucket because this much zucchini was ready. And so we're going to go ahead and grab it. But you can see that at least there is a walkway now. We need to add a second fence for the gourds. But we're kind of using all of our panels because I've got so many set up as arches. So my husband's going to have to disassemble our old pig pen to use those. I forgot I was going to show you guys the gourds.
You know,
Huh?
I might be allergic to this plant as well.
Why? Make your arm itchy?
Yes.
We'll go in and wash your arm really quick. Really good. Dawn and scrub. And then if you do that fast, it'll be fine. Here's one of them. This looks like a birdhouse gourd. Connor picked the zucchini for me because I'm allergic to the leaves. And now he's itching. Look at this guy. This is why I said I must have had a random packet in there that has just like squash looking varieties. Look how cute they are. And look at this one. Just ever so tiny starting. And then there's this one, which I don't know if it's the same. It looks different because it doesn't have the stripes. It's yellow with a little green butt. And look at those. Can you see the babies? Here's another one. So lots and lots of gourds. Look at this cute guy. It's another stripy one. So fun. There's a kitty. Hi, Starling. But yeah, mostly ones like that. Here's another one. Tiny, tiny. But that looks much better. So now at least we can, you see how the grass was coming up underneath this? Now we can at least till this walkway. And soon my husband's going to do the trellis for this. We've just got to go get those other panels. So these are our cucumbers, and he basically just barely vines them up, but for the most part just wants to keep enough of a walkway. They were really slow to start this year, but they're finally doing really good. So the other thing Connor and I were going to work on is I was trying to figure out the best way to deal with these vines to get these grasses. And my husband and I talked about it, and we really think that right now the vines are so big that the best course of action would be to kind of move the vines around and weed eat, and then move the vines back, because the vines are getting so big. So that's what we're going to attempt to do today. That, after coming out here and looking at it again, I think that's the better course of action compared to trying to hoe or pull weeds. Why are you crying, kitty? Starling! Starling! Come here. There you are. Come here. This poor little kitty. Been so attacked on his head. Look at that. My goodness. What'd you do? What'd you do, Bubby? He's got 2 scratches. One is like shooting out liquid. I guess I need to put some Neosporin or something on it because it's up there where he can't lick it. That's usually most we do for our cats. If they're, I mean, if a cat or dog is injured somewhere where they can lick it, they can usually take better care of it than we can. But if they can't lick it, they can't do nothing. But he loves coming over here and trying to get these butterflies because there's so many. See all those butterflies? Lovely. Alright, here's how it's looking so far. Didn't get a ton of weed eating done because Connor ran out of gas, so he's going to get some. A lot of the bigger grasses that look like this are actually super easy to pull out. So I've gone through pulling those out. I've got watermelon thrown up on themselves here, trying to find, you know, where they begin and end. We have way more watermelons than I thought. It's so insane. Like, I mean, I've probably seen at least 30. A lot of them itty bitty babies, but anyway, so this is what he was able to weed eat before running out of gas. And so while he does that, goes and gets the gas, I'm going to finish kind of moving stuff out of the way. Like, see how this plant is hard to weed eat around? And so I'll just pull up those big weeds there. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. Just gonna throw them all around. We'll throw them all together in one spot at first, weed eat around them, and then we'll sprawl them back out. One thing I want to mention too that I didn't think about till just now is all these big ones. That are right by a plant that I'm pulling up. I can just pull it up and then lay it down at the base of the plant, because grass, all grass varieties, are nitrogen heavy, and so as it breaks down and dies because it has no, you know, root in the soil, it'll feed the soil around the plants. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll probably even rake up all those ones I threw out in the yard and just throw them back in here when we're done weed eating. Okay, it's hot, you guys. So it's just been about another 15 minutes and I finished what I'm gonna do. I went through and I pulled any of the grass weeds that were up in the middle of plants. All the weeds I had thrown out of the garden, I threw back in the garden under plants. And I moved vines around and kind of clumped them all up in piles so Connor can weed eat around them. So like here, we've just got 1, 2, 3 itty bitty 4 plants here. The rest of this is all just needs to be weed eated. And then they get bigger through here. When we put these vines back, you guys, I'm gonna have to show you all the fruit that's out here. It's insane. Honey, I've moved them all so you can weed eat wherever you don't see a vine. Like, I'd start right there because those vines are short, but there's just grass all in between them. I gotta go in 5 minutes for my call. Okay, so see, this is just weeds. And then This was pretty good. I just pulled some weeds like that were in the middle of it and kind of moved them back a bit so we can clean up the edge. And these are huge. So many baby pumpkins in there. It's glorious. But anyway, so he'll weed eat here, come around here, and then this back half that's empty, just weed eat all of that. I just threw this vine up this way, had a rogue watermelon way over here, curled it up on itself, and then we'll just weed eat all along this edge. And you see he'll weed eat in here. But I have to run inside for a conference call. So I'm gonna let him handle this, and then I'll be back out to check it with you guys after my call. I wanna mention too that I am going to deep water this vine patch tonight. We don't normally water it. It's a pretty wet spot in the garden. You can actually see like right there. This is like the wettest corner of the garden, which, you know, future planning, we should have put all the watermelon on this end because they need so much more water. And watermelons are heavy feeders, so I need to fertilize them because I've not. So I'm just gonna take care of some stuff like that. That's grass, honey. This evening, so we can kind of wrap all this up and be done with it, and it can be good to go for a while. I also noticed a couple of squash bugs on some of the pumpkins. I literally just saw like 2, but that reminded me that I've not sprayed out there for bugs in probably 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm gonna do that this evening too. Probably before I water. I think how I'll water out there is stick a water hose out there on like a slow drip. Something, I'm not sure. But they need to be sprayed for bugs, fertilized, the vines flopped back over and watered. And then there'll probably be no maintenance for a few weeks at least. So that'll be nice. All right, so I finished my call. So I'm walking back out here to see how Connor did. I'm sure he did great. It already looks better. I just gotta spread those vines back out. What do you think, Connor? You think it looks better?
I think I did decent for me.
You think you did decent?
Just for being me.
For being you. You can do decent. Yeah, see, like these ones right by that vine, I'll just pull by hand because they're just hard to get.
I can get too close to the plant.
Yeah, and those really tall grasses, Connor, they pull up really easy, so that's fine. What about this spot? Yeah, that's like that tall one right there, and those 4, that's all weeds. And then right here, honey, just this, I can pull this one by hand. Oh, let's see. Yeah. These weeds. Yeah, you did pretty good. Pretty good. There's some down here too, honey, that you skipped. But yeah, this side over here looks really good. I'm just gonna get to putting these weeds back, or these vines back down. All right, so I got all the vines spread out. The pumpkins are doing so good. They're really just growing a lot in the middle, and they're making such broad leaves that it's hard for grass to grow up around them. Now as they get bigger, I did pull some grasses, but I missed this guy. Where are you at? So, and I think I mentioned that before, all the grass weeds I had thrown in the yard, I threw back in the garden. So then next time my husband mows, he can come in closer to this edge. And if he wants to till around what's left, he can. It'll be easier now. But we don't, I mean, we might do that. Just depends. Because now that we've taken out all the stuff that doesn't belong, or really just created a space, you know, he has access to till. The main concern is plants growing in enough, vines growing in enough, that the grass weeds don't get as carried away. And any of these vines I can move towards the middle I am. Look at that pumpkin guy. So there's just a few here I had missed. Just kind of move them around. You know, interesting fun fact about vines. I learned this the year I grew gourds and spaghetti squash. You can flop these vines over like this. See how these two I just moved are upside down? These vines will naturally adjust themselves. Because see, the point of all these broad leaves are to cover and protect the vine and the fruit. And so right now they're upside down. They will literally turn themselves around. So these leaves are reaching for the sky again, because that's the plant's job, is to protect it. And so they will move themselves. Because I heard that in a video years ago, and I tried it just to see if it was true, and they really did. Within a couple days, all the leaves were facing up again because they just fixed themselves. So I thought I'd show you some of the watermelons. Here's one of our biggest ones that was hidden before. Couldn't see it until just recently. I do have 3 or 4 different varieties out here, so I'm not sure. Maybe it was just 3. I'm not sure when some will be done, but look at these guys right there by my head. Those are good sized. So many babies. So many babies. And then look at this weird squash in there. I think that's in that weird squash multi-packet I did for fall decor. There's another beauty. There's another baby. This is a different variety because it's really light. So there's that one. This little guy. And this little guy's got the stripes. There's 2 more. You see the light ones? That is so many. The most I've ever done. But because they are picky, you've got to make sure, you know, they make it. So they need fertilizer and stuff. Here's a few good more. There's one. Here's a baby. This one. This one. Love it. Oh, there's another good sized one. So just like that, all the way down. So fun. So I'm probably going to cut this video off here because I got to get to work and get some other things done inside. But because I'm not showing it, I just want to let you know what I'm going to do this evening. So I'm going to spray them for insects. I'm going to fertilize them and water them. So I'm going to use a liquid soluble fertilizer. And that's it. So you have to wait until the evening to do the insecticide, whether it's organic or not, so you don't kill any of your bees. So wait and do that, and then we'll just kind of wait and see what comes. So anyways, I'm really glad to get this done, and the gourds over there. As soon as my husband takes apart that pig pen, we'll get up another trellis for the gourds and 2 or 3 for the cucumbers. And you guys, this garden will be kind of just wait and see. We'll till every week, harvest every day, and, you know, just mow around it. So this being grown up has been like the biggest thing we've had to do. And then we were also waiting on these vines, the gourds and cucumbers, to get big enough to do the trellis, and now they are. So, and then we would have put them all up recently. Sorry, I know the camera's like all up on my face. I'm trying to carry tripod and a hoe. Got a hoe. But by the time they were big enough and we got to looking around, we realized we didn't have any more posts, any more trellis without having to take them apart. This willow tree, you guys, we put this tree in like 3 years ago, maybe. My husband and I, when we first started dating, we always said we both had kind of envisioned having a willow tree in our yard. Not quite big enough to sit under yet. However, I have this gnome down here. Ah! God, you scared the poop out of me.
Okay, so I don't know what happened to the rest of that footage because there was like a whole closing and everything, but Starling jumped in the tree and scared me. I fixed my gnome. I showed you under the willow tree. and then I walked out and said goodbye. So anyways, we'll wrap this up here with this lovely photo of the flowers and Sterling. And I just wanted to say thank you for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along, and I hope you have a wonderful day.